In September 2022, Burkina Faso suffered its second coup d'état in less than 9 months. Then 34-year-old Army Captain Ibrahim Traoré seized power, ousting Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, who led a coup in January of that year, toppling former President Roch Kabore. Justifying why he was removing Damiba from office, Ibrahim Traoré said in a televised address that the embattled head of state had failed to tackle the perennial problem of insurgency that has been hitting Burkina Faso in recent years. Now, when Ibrahim Traoré was named as the leader of the coup plotters, certain observers pointed out his resemblance to Thomas Sankara. In addition to the red beret, Ibrahim Traoré had several points in common with the national icon Sankara. Both of them are captains, both came to power at the age of 34, and both were perpetrators of a coup against the military which had itself come to power by force just 8 months earlier. In this episode of African Biographics, we covered the meteoric rise of Burkina Faso's captain Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré was born in 1988 in Bondokouy in the Mohan province of Burkina Faso. He attended primary school in his hometown and secondary school in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso's second largest city. Unlike his predecessor Damba and many other Burkina Faso officers who embraced the military career as teenagers, Ibrahim Traoré had a civilian background. Before joining the army, he moved to Ouagadougou, the capital, to study geology at the Joseph Kissable University, with reports describing him as shy and rather reserved but also very intelligent. As the valedictorian of his class, he chose to join the army rather than continue his university studies, and so in 2009 Ibrahim Traoré joined the Georges Namoano Military Academy in Paul. This academy is a second-tier institution compared to the prestigious Cardiogo Military Academy, of which Thomas Sankara and the former President Damiba are alumni. Upon his graduation in 2012, Ibrahim Traoré joined the artillery regiment of Kaya, and 2 years later he was promoted to lieutenant. Ibrahim Traoré quickly impressed his superiors and was sent for anti-aircraft training in Morocco after serving in relatively junior positions in Burkina Faso's military trial. His major breakthrough came in 2014 when he was deployed to Mali as a soldier under the United Nations peacekeeping mission program MINUSMA in Mali. Traoré cut his teeth fighting the geodes and ethnic insurgents. According to various accounts, Traoré showed bravery in the face of a complex attack by militants in the northern Timbuktu region. This was in 2018. The following year he participated in a military operation codenamed Operation Otapuano in Burkina Faso's Restive East for 7 months. Despite being touted as a major success, this operation resulted in only temporary withdrawal by militants from the region and the corresponding increase in attacks elsewhere in the country. Also served in a detachment of Makali in the northern Sahel region at the so-called three-border zone of Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, on the front lines against jihadist groups, and took part in several operations. People who knew Traoré at the time said that he exhibited leadership attributes including being willful, courageous and close to his men. Ibrahim Traoré was promoted to the rank of captain in 2020. Around the same time, however, he was among the young and destitute officers who couldn't help observing their superiors' inability to contain the Deir district in the field. Traoré and his fellow officers were stuck between a rock and hard place. One source recounted an incident that occurred in 2020 when the town of Bosologo in central Burkina Faso was on the verge of falling to jihadists. The highway into Bosologo was believed to have been mined, so Traoré led his men on a commando track across the countryside, arriving in time to free the town. At this point I need to mention that the rebel insurgency has had grave consequences for the people of Burkina Faso. He had this inspired terrorist groups are wreaking havoc in Burkina Faso's northern regions, controlling large swathes of territory, especially in the countryside beyond the reach of the central government. According to estimates, the government controls slightly over 50% of the country's territory, and the actual figure could be lower. Attacks were the group for the support of Islam and Muslims, also known as Jainim, and Al-Qaeda offshoot, and by the Islamic State Sahel have been on the rise in the Sahelian tribe border region among Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. Jainim in particular, which is based in Mali and active across much of West Africa, exploits a lack of opportunities as well as ethnic and social divisions among the populists to facilitate recruitment and build this influence in the region. Jainim finds itself by ransoming captives, taxing locals, smuggling weapons and extorting human and drug traffickers in Burkina Faso. The attacks by the Kurdish groups include armed attacks, abductions, carjackings, improvised explosive devices, rocket attacks and ambushes. The most affected regions in Burkina Faso are the Sahel, Nord, Central Nord and the EST. By late 2021 a humanitarian crisis was evident in many parts of Burkina Faso and a quarter of the population faced food insecurity.